All right, good morning. This is Jack from Sharks in the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 9th of July. My disclaimer, I did this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. Okay, the biggest thing yesterday, and this is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on the YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. Okay, the biggest thing that happened yesterday was actually this on copper. This is what happened when a 50% tariff was put on copper. It starts on the 1st of August, and this is an awful lot of people ordering their copper before the boom comes down on the tariffs. This is an interesting one because what Trump's doing is he's trying to apparently trying to increase copper manufacturing in the US. But of course, copper is very widely used in an awful lot of things, including house building and most big manufacturing industries. And it's really going to increase costs quite a bit and not really yield any sizable benefits for years, if it yields any at all. A number of other tariffs being talked about. Now we've got the August 1st date, but he's talked before about putting in huge tariffs on pharmaceuticals, which he'd like to see all made in the US and etc. And he apparently feels he's on a roll at the moment after the big beautiful bill. Also, I think he genuinely believes that it's foreigners who pay tariffs. So I think he's thinking that he can increase tax revenue a lot. But it's not. It's the Americans and American companies that pay tariffs. And so really what we'd be looking at here is a very big tax increase, mainly on ordinary Americans. It would affect inflation, but it would also be a very large tax on ordinary Americans. And if he starts raising hundreds of billions, well, that's quite a sizable tax increase. We will see how this develops, but this is a worrying sign. And if he's going to do this, then the chances of this move up lasting into December seem remote. So we're watching this carefully. But the noises coming out of Washington this morning were extremely discouraging. So we will see. All right. Okay. Looking at ES. A little bit of a consolidation here. I think this is probably going to result, subject to news, in at least a retest of this high and probably a bit higher. We will see how that goes. We still do have July, depending on what's happening at the White House and what's coming out of it. But if we start having new tariffs announced every couple of days, then that's not going to be good. NQ. Again, looks like a little bullish consolidation. RTY, again, could see another move down maybe. This could be a head and shoulders forming, but there's nothing much really suggesting that it is. YM, we have a 60-minute buy signal that is fixed and mostly made target overnight. We've got a little double bottom here. If we see a sustained break up over the weekly pivot, then that could get us pretty close to a retest of the high. DAX and STX. DAX is almost back up to a retest of this high, which is the first target on the IHS, which is broken up, which is good, and I'm encouraged to see that. STX is a bit further away, but both of them are looking fairly good to make that target at the moment. So we shall see how that goes. All right, let's have a look at. Sorry, bear with me. I'd forgotten to open these charts before we got started. So let's have a look at these first. All right, looking at ES, we've got slightly under the weekly pivot at the moment. We've been seeing a bit of a retrace. We are a long way away from the daily middle band at the moment. I'm not seeing anything to suggest we're going to go directly back to the daily middle band. The same on SPX as well. We do have a 60-minute sell signal fixed here. Bear with me a moment. Sorry, I haven't actually marked it in. I'll be doing that for tonight. But we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed here. I'm thinking this could deliver a move back to the daily middle band, but I'm thinking we'd probably do a retest of the highs first. So we will see how that goes. But we've got 60-minute sell signals fixed on Qs, on Dia, and on SPX. So if we have a look at the Qs, nice looking one there too. That's the one that fixed first, and we've got another nice one on Dia. Although we do have a possible, no, we didn't quite make a retest of the low there yesterday, so we don't have actually any positive divergence that could lead to a signal on the RSI 5. Those on the bigger picture could lead to some deeper retracements, but I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of the highs first. All right, looking at the others, bear with me. And IWM is a particularly important one here for a number of reasons. One, IWM based on the Russell 2000, of course, and this is generally accepted, and the evidence suggests that this is the most sensitive to changes in interest rates. If we're going to see some sizable increases in interest rates over the next few months, which not interest rates by the Fed, but actual interest rates, i.e. set by the bond markets, then it's the Russell 2000 which is likely to be affected most by that. Now, this is the inverted head and shoulders there. As you can see, we've made some good progress towards the target, but the main target would be a retest of this high here at 24304. It's still a long way short of it. I'm wondering if we're going to start seeing talk of tariffs ramp up a lot, then my expectation would be this probably wouldn't make the target. But I'm hoping this is just a blip and we've got a fairly clear run into at least the end of July. So we will see. Do we have any obvious topping patterns here? No, but we would start setting some up as and when we retested the high. This could be the start of a topping process, but it doesn't look well advanced. All right, looking at DAX on here, we're getting back up to a retest of the all-time high. No meaningful divergence here at the moment. On Nikkei, we're seeing a bit of a pullback here. We might see a test of the daily middle band, which I've got just over 39,000. Main target here would be a test of this high here at 42.4K. I'm currently seeing nothing to suggest that won't be retested. Okay, let's have a look at DX. Now, DX, we've got a little IHS here, which has broken up with a target in about the 98.15 area. That's obviously a pretty good match with the declining resistance trend line, and I'm thinking that may well get reached. We shall see. What's the other thing is, if we start going back into tariffs, it could have a big impact on stocks, but it's probably going to have a big impact on the US dollar and on bonds. And I'm not entirely sure why it is, but there does seem to be a general consensus that tariffs might well be good for the US dollar. And as I said, we are at a big inflection point, and it could rise a lot from here. I'm not sure why that is, and I am skeptical. But I wouldn't be that surprised to see a breakdown either. ZB, we've got all these wedges and they are broken down. We could see a retest of the high. Does look kind of a bit like a bull flag, though not particularly a strong one. We will see how it goes, but I'm wondering about a high retest. But then after that, I'm thinking probably we will see bonds return to these lows. Really, it's all about what's happening on the bond markets here. But obviously, the fact that a big, beautiful bill passed isn't good for bond markets because it increases borrowing. CL, this kind of looks like a bear flag, and we've got a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing. HO, possible short-term topping action, and we've seen pretty much 50% retracement. On gasoline, we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed, so I'm leaning short on all of those. NG, we've still got a potential double bottom here, and two actually. So I am wondering whether we might see a serious rally, but it wouldn't surprise me to see this continue down. GC, we're still holding below the monthly pivot. We do have a 60-minute, possible week 60-minute buy signal, and at the moment that is trying to fix. This kind of looks like a bull flag. I would like to see this go higher. I'm not sure it's ready, and I'm looking with concern at the palladium and platinum charts. Silver is starting to break this support trend line here. I'd love to see a retest of this high and higher up into 38.39. I am wondering if this might be an overall bull flag forming that might need a move down into about 34.5 to 36 area. On palladium, we've got a very nice looking double top. It has tested support, and at the moment it's not broken down. Platinum, we haven't tested support yet, but we've got two very nice looking potential level tops here. HG, obviously, we have a lot of people buying. This could easily happen. This could easily happen to silver as well. I think there's a fair amount of, silver is mainly actually produced as a byproduct of other things like zinc. But there was speculation in the markets yesterday that we might see silver hit with big tariffs as well, and that this kind of spike up might actually happen on silver as well as a result. Okay, looking at the currencies, nothing really saying sizable top here at the moment on the currencies which are inverted to the dollar. Nice little sell signal here on USD JPY. It should be bearish for dollar slightly, but it's only 11% of the index. Nothing really appearing on USD CAD. NZ, we've got a head and shoulders here, but it's been slow to head to the target, although at the moment I'm not seeing anything to suggest it won't make that target. All right, KC. KC, we're breaking up over this short-term declining resistance. Not the first time. Doesn't mean we're definitely breaking up. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed, and it does look as though that might be ready to head off to the target. Looking at SB. SB is now testing the declining resistance that I was watching. We've also got a potential double top here. We will see how this goes, but I'm quite liking this, although the data has moved around again. It's really annoying when it does this, because sometimes it moves away from my lines, not because the lines have moved, but because the data seems to have changed, which is an odd one. But so this was actually touching this declining support trend line, but it's now broken it. But we're breaking over the declining resistance at the moment. I would not be surprised to see a decent rally on sugar here, although I am wondering about how much that would have in the way of legs. CC, we've still got a potential level bottom here and a 60-minute buy signal, which hasn't made target yet. On CT, we've tried to break down from this head and shoulders. Could head down and do the retest of the low, but if it fails, that's going to be on a move back over about 68.4. Lumber still looks like, on the bigger picture, a bear flag forming. We will see. On CW, looks like a little bear flag, wondering about a retest of this low. On corn, I was seeing a lot of news about shortages worldwide of corn yesterday. Not seeing that in the prices here, to be honest. So we've actually gone down to the support trend line here and broken below it. We do have a potential level bottom here, and we do have a possible 60-minute buy signal growing. On soy, I was expecting to see a full retest of the low, and we've seen it. Potential area to move up, and we've got 60-minute buy signal fixed here, but this isn't potentially a double bottom setup. On soybean oil, kind of looks like a bull flag forming at the moment. On live cattle, we broke up from the IHS and have made the first target, which was at a retest of this high. And on lean hogs, we've got we've broken down from a head and shoulders, and at the moment it's deciding whether or not it's going to make that target, with resistance at the monthly pivot at 108.50. Okay, let's have a look at questions. Bear with me a moment. Okay, no questions today. Right, I'm leaning towards seeing retests of these highs, but we're seeing a lot more tariff talk, and it would appear that Trump's not really learned anything from the last lot of tariff trouble, and that may mean that we're back in tariff wars pretty soon. Now, tariff wars don't involve direct retaliation from other countries, because everyone knows the history of the Great Depression, so they're very, very wary about putting tariffs on their own population. Also, they don't want to tax their own population, so which obviously isn't so much of a worry for Trump. But this could, but in terms of retaliation that could really, really hurt, there's a lot that can be done that isn't tariffs. And some of that's been having already. Obviously, tourism is well down. Education is becoming a lot less attractive. And there's a very wide boycott of American goods, which is heavily in Canada and is getting started significantly in Europe. That well could expand. And it could be that there is a general reluctance to deal with American companies that comes through this. That could have a big impact on the American economy, and tariffs are not good to be talking about for the American economy. So we shall see. All right, great. In that case, I think it's a wrap. I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. All right, thanks.